What makes you unique, Mr. Blakemore?
So I think what makes me unique is that sometimes I find things quite hard, but I keep going. I persevere with things even though they're challenging.
Okay, anything else?
I have a really weird scar on my head that's like a V. Weird, I know, terrible.
Anything else?
Oh my gosh. I suppose there's this one thing, and it's that I have this like special superpower that is dyslexia.
Me too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay. How do you find it having dyslexia?
I'm meant to be answering the questions.
Like a mini podcast.
Okay. Okay, I feel like it's harder to read and write and do many things that other kids will do very easily. When did you find out you had dyslexia?
So I found out I had dyslexia in my final year of university.
What?
Yeah, so I went through all my schooling, everything, and it wasn't until my final year of university training to be a teacher that I realised that it wasn't very normal for me to be spending all of my weekends in the library to read the same books that people were reading in like a few hours. And then I went to go and have an assessment, and then I found out I did have dyslexia. But
Very interesting, very interesting. What was school like? Did you find it hard?
I think, yeah, I did find it hard initially. I could never really figure out why, even though I tried my hardest, English was something that I struggle with much more than something like maths. So I always found that really, really tough. And yeah, it was not too easy with the English, but I think one thing when it comes to dyslexia is, although I found it tricky, you just have to work a little bit harder than everyone else.
Yes, that is correct. What advice would you give to students with dyslexia?
I think it would be to focus on your superpowers. So even though there will be some things that you find a little bit challenging, like I just mentioned, you just have to work a little bit harder with those. And that's just matter of fact. However, by being dyslexic, you also get these really cool superpowers. So things like being able to recognize patterns quicker than everyone else. Things like being creative. And did you know that 40% of self-made millionaires are dyslexic?
Wow, that's really interesting. Does that mean we two will be millionaires?
Potentially, statistically, one of us could be. Yeah, in the future.
What do you mean, one of us?
Well, 40% means that, it's like halfway between. So, out of us, one of us will. But to be honest, Boston, I reckon it's going to be you. Okay. Now it's my turn with the microphone. Right. What sort of things have you found that during your school have helped you?
Having a stress toy like this.
How does that help you?
It just makes me less anxious, because also a side effect of having dyslexia is doubting yourself.
I see.
So this just helps me cope with that.
If you were to ask any teachers to help you, what sort of things would you hope teachers knew to be able to support you further?
Hopefully they knew about dyslexia.
What would you want them to know?
People sometimes people that have dyslexia find it hard to read, write, sometimes find math tricky, and that basically.
So you think maybe something like patience?
Yes, they need patience.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, Boston, for being my interviewee in this amazing conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore.
Thank you, Boston.